Okay, good morning. So what you're going to learn today is just how to be a valuable member of our Kornblum Elementary School, what our school looks like, our safety and security procedures, and how to be a parent partner with our Kornblum Elementary students. So this is what a daily schedule looks like for them. The school begins at 8:30, so we really would like the students sitting in their seats by 8:30. A late bell will ring at 8:35. Their recess is around 9:50 to 10:10, and then they'll have a PE time where they go and do structured activities from 1:10 to 1:30. Dismissal is at 2:30, and you'll pick them up at the green gate. We ask all parents to come in, and the child is handed to you from the classroom, and you walk off. Some important staff information. Our school phone number is there to call for any and leave messages. We often are not able to get to the phone before the first couple of rings. So just leave a message and we will call you back. Ms. Stewart, you have been introduced to her this morning, and she is our school principal. Again, my name is Miss Bobo. I am the school counselor. I am full-time here, and my job is to make sure that the kids are happy. We have Mr. Gary, who's around campus right now, and he's our dean of students. He mostly deals with the discipline. We have our two secretaries, Miss Eubanks and Miss Sanchez, that are in the front office that are more than willing to help you with anything. We have Miss Lopez. I think she's joined us this morning. She's over in the corner. She is our health clerk. And you met Mr. Autry, Terry Autry. He's the security guard who will be at all of our gates and running our traffic. Some more important people, we have our literacy coach, Miss Pua. She works with the students on reading and language. We have Mr. Moreno. He is our math coach, and he works with students on math, and he supports the teachers. We have Miss Anderson, who is our English language learner specialist. Anybody who speaks a second language, she assists in making sure that they learn English as quickly as possible. We have Miss Tombros. She's joining us as our school psychologist for our second year. And we have Miss Casey Ellis, who is our speech pathologist. Everyone here is full-time, so we're always here, with the exception of Miss Tombros, who shares 2 schools. So safety and security is our top priority, and we want everyone to be involved and be responsible. We have a safety and security plan for all of the unknowns, earthquakes, fires, an intruder, all those different things that we do practice with the students. Practice makes perfect. So the more we practice these things, the easier it is in case of an emergency. Signing in and signing out, we need to know who's taking the children, so it's important that you sign in and sign out. And then we have different COVID guidelines, so it's always changing, so bear with us as we get that information, we share it with you. Picture ID is required at all times. We don't look if it's expired, but we do need a picture ID. We need to know that the child is going with the right person. And visitors always need to check into the office first. We do not have an open campus. So if a gate is open, we ask that you not walk in. We ask that you get assistance so that we can help you. So if there's a change in routines, if you can contact the front office, sometimes our children start to feel uncomfortable, a little insecure. So we want to see what's going on in their lives and how we can assist them to make their transition here at school easier. We don't give out information over the phone, so calling us, I know many people work. We respect all of our working parents. We were working parents as well, but it's difficult for us to give information by phone. And that's the personal information. Late arrivals, it's important that they are sitting in their seats. As you can see, breakfast starts right away, and then there's 15 minutes to eat. Then after they finish eating, they go directly into their routine and their instruction. So when we have late students who need to eat, it kind of slows everything down. We do not encourage early dismissal. I know a lot of families think that kindergarten is, not that important, but it's actually the most important time of the years, of the educational years. So early dismissal, we don't have a specific time where nothing's going on. Only people on the emergency contact list can pick up a student before dismissal. Once the bell rings, if they're outside in the car and they're not on the list, that's okay. But we need to release them to someone who, before the bell rings, to someone that you have given us approval. Okay, so make sure your emergency contact list is up to date. And we don't release our kindergarten students to school-age kids. So basically, if their older sibling is in another grade level, we will not allow that child to come down, go to the door, grab the student, and go home. And you can understand why. If they go home on a different path and you sent someone to pick them up, now we think that something's gone wrong. So it's important for us to make sure that they went home with the appropriate person. And it's easy for a kid to go home with their sibling and no one even pay attention. So we begin supervising the students at 8 a.m. I know that doesn't work for some of our working parents that need to be at work at 8, but they are not supervised until 8 a.m. We have yard supervisors. Ms. Renata, our translator this morning, is one of our yard supervisors, and they don't begin until 8 a.m. And we line them up at the gate before entering them in to the yard. Dismissal is at 2:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday is early dismissal, so put that on your calendar, always 2 o'clock. All students are released at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. So that kind of, when in your busy life, you'll forget that sometimes. Just give us a call though. Okay, lunch. Okay, all lunch applications must be filled out online. Okay, you can pay for your lunches in advance. Those are the different methods that we use to collect the money. And each student has a PIN number, and we teach our kindergarten students how to use their PIN number, but not until the very end of school. What we give them is a little card, and they hand the card and then to the cafeteria person, or they have their faces. So until we take pictures, we need to know their names, and we need to know that we're matching them up with the right account. So our wonderful health clerk, she is trained in a variety of areas, but she is not a doctor, so she can't tell you what to do or diagnose or anything like that. But she is trained in many, many different areas that she can assist you with. It's too many for me to go over. If you have any questions or concerns, you just speak directly with her, and she's always in the front office, ready to receive you at 8:30. We ask if the student has a temperature, especially now more than ever because of COVID, so please keep them at home. And then medications can be administered here, but we need to have the doctor's approval and the doctor's information. So you can't just drop something off in a prescription bottle and say, give this to my child. That's not good enough. We need more information than that. If you don't have time to get that from the doctor, or because especially with COVID right now, many of us can't even get to our doctors. So if that's the case, we have to have you as the parent administer the medication. I am in charge of attendance. So if you get a phone call from me, you're not doing so well. That means you're late a lot or that you've missed too many days. 10% is what I'm looking at. So you can get to 10% real fast. and a cold can wipe them out real fast. So just stay in communication with me. I have protocols, policies, and procedures that I have to follow that are district-wide and statewide. So if we communicate, even if you're over the 10%, we can work through it. Different things happen, it's different times. So we have to work together as a team, but we don't want them having excessive absences. They're afraid to come to school, I need to know, because as the school counselor, it's my responsibility to figure out why, so that they can come to school, make friends, and feel comfortable here. When a child is absent, you do have to clear their absences. So we ask that a phone call or a note clears the absences. So if you leave a message or you fill out a form or leave us a note, all of those things are appropriate. So we talked about the emergency contact list. Make sure those numbers are all up to date. The worst thing ever is for us sitting here and we're dialing every number we have. There's 15 numbers and none of them work. And there's an emergency. So make sure that those numbers are current and that you pick someone that you know pretty well. It's also embarrassing when we call and there's been a fight between two people and they're no longer communicating. So it's important that you pick someone that you feel comfortable with and that you'll give that information to. So during our parent conference time, which will actually happen before December this year, it's been December in the past, we do send out an update sheet and we ask you to review that sheet, make sure we have all the current information. All right, so we have a program called Class Dojo. Why we love it is we post to it, and it's just like an Instagram account for the most part. And on that Class Dojo, this is Mrs. Stewart's Class Dojo. It is the entire school. She sends messages in the morning. So once you are connected to Class Dojo on your phone, it will pop up. And so it's easier for us to get key information to you right away. So if she has something that she needs to get out to you, like this is the last day to purchase uniforms, or this is the last day for yearbook, she's going to post it here in English and Spanish. And then it's just like with all the likes and all of those things, you get a chance to review it and see it as quickly as possible. Also, another feature of Class Dojo, if you look to the right, those are all of our teachers and they sign up. I'm sorry, to the left, those are all of our teachers and they sign up and that's how they communicate with you. And a lot of times it's just a quick text message. And sometimes that's really, really helpful just to understand what's going on in the classroom or what they've forgotten or any information. So when your teachers, or when the students are with their teachers at the beginning of the year, they will send out a code that they ask you to sign up via your phone, and it becomes an app on your phone. So then once that app is there, you can review any messages and text message to the teacher about any concerns. A great one is, bad night last night, didn't do homework, just wanted to let you know. So the teacher is informed, the teacher gets that on their Class Dojo, you're at work, nobody's bothering you. You know, so it's a quick, fast way, and we love it. Also, some of the teachers use it as a point system in the classroom for rewards. We're talking about using that. We have a reward system that we use here in the school, and a lot of times for the kids to earn prizes, monthly prizes, and so we'll be using those point systems instead of some of the things that we've been using in the past. So our main form of communication, Class Dojo, emails, and then blasts. Please listen to our phone blasts. I know that you're not always able to listen to them. I get them from the district office, I get them from the school. So I know it becomes a lot on your phone. So if you send it to voicemail, it'll record and then you can listen to it later. But it's important that you listen to that key information. It's really important. The marquee is the next thing. That's the big bulletin board outside, and we always put posters along the walls. The notes home will be the least frequent, the notes home. So, you used to communicate with your parents via the notes home, but with COVID, they've kind of come back on that a little bit. So now that will be the next thing that they'll do. Okay, so what does our school look like? We have a strong community. We have a great PTO. We've been having many people help us out over the years. It will look a little different this year with COVID, so we'll wait to see how that goes. We have outstanding educators. We stand behind all of our teachers. They are excellent teachers. They're very knowledgeable, and they have the ability to meet the needs of all different students. So they're not trying to make it a one size fits all. They are individually meeting the needs of each student. So we have been declining in enrollment. So if you know somebody who lives in your area and they haven't registered their kid, please tell them to bring them to Kornblum. We will help you. We are at 500 students. Over the past 3 years, we've been at 700. So we've lost 200 kids over the last few years. Again, we have an active PTO. This is our 8th year for our Hawthorne Parent Academy. The Hawthorne Parent Academy will be monthly meetings like this in the morning, and you'll join me for different topics and themes. We have enriching activities after school. We'll have tutoring.
Greatly appreciate your patience.
A lot of different things, okay? And then we have our school site council.
Yeah. All right. Yes, I was
our
reach a
academic support and our English language development advisory. So if you speak a different language, this is a great team to join so that they can get your feedback on developing English language learners. So this was the form, the questions. This will be posted on our website. These are the questions that we were asking upon entering, but we would like you to have a copy of this so that you can go and look at the questions daily and then be able to see if your child is ready for school for COVID. So we talked about the arrival procedures, and we'll be coming in through gate 5. Miss Mathis is our only kinder teacher that comes in through this main gate right here. Okay, you'll know that at the beginning of the school year. Everybody else comes through gate 6, and that's the gate that we ended. But when you pick up from Miss Mathis, you will pick up at gate 6, not at gate 5. So our classrooms are socially distanced, and everybody still has the screens up. It's very light, you can't see the screen there. We have large desks at this time. We have ordered single desks for K through 3. So we're just waiting for those to arrive. Some more of our procedures. We have one way up and one way down. No kindergartners allowed on the 2nd story. So this won't apply to them, but just so you're aware that we're making sure that the students are socially distanced. So as I said, where you pick your child, wherever you drop your child off is the same gate where you will pick them up. All right, so this again is how to stay informed throughout COVID as we have new procedures. Like I said, the first thing we'll do is hit Class Dojo. Then we'll hit a phone blast, and then we will call home. So it's important to have all that information right away. So today you saw how some of them were sad and this is their first time leaving you. So it's very normal for them to have anxiety. It's very normal for them to have this experience. When you go back and pick them up, you'll find that they stopped crying after about 10 minutes. They just need to know they are safe. And that's what's important. So taking their pictures, it's their first day in kindergarten. We know you want their pictures, but take their pictures, say goodbye, and kind of step back so they know that they're in a safe place. Talk to them about their friends, talk to them about what to expect, reassure them that they're going to school and that it is a safe place. Things you can do for them at home throughout kindergarten, they'll learn how to write their name, their first name and their last, practicing their letters, recognizing their colors, and just playing school because they need to learn how to transition. They go from the rug to the seat to sections to centers, back to the rug to the seat. So they're never sitting in one place. It's a constant movement. So when they're moving and we're ready to transition, they have to be good listeners and be ready to transition and not say, I don't want to do that. Those are the things that you can practice. Sharing the responsibility. If you have any concerns, just making sure that you articulate those concerns to me, to Ms. Stewart. We make those, or Mr. Gary, we all make those placement changes if that's necessary. So they prefer routine, just knowing what time they're going to get up every morning, what time you're going to come back for them, telling them it's 2:30. They can't tell time, but when you come back and you're right there at the time when the teacher says it's time to go home, they feel safe. So being on time is important. When you are not on time, they feel afraid. They feel that they've been abandoned or left behind. So these are the things that most 5-year-olds like to do. They will change their mind. They'll procrastinate. They'll like immediate results. They don't like to wait. They have a vivid imagination. They argue with their peers frequently, and they have difficulty understanding and remembering rules. It's our job to make sure that they know that. So we are very patient. We don't expect them to know. We don't say things like, you're 5 now, you need to know. We don't do that. They have a lot of time to learn these various things. It's a big transition and they need time to adjust. Their social skills, just communicating, being able to share, being able to learn how to play and introduce themselves to someone else. That's my job. I will go into the kindergarten classrooms. I will do lessons with them. I will teach them how to get along with one another. Being able to communicate their emotions, we need to speak in terms of their emotions. If they're crying, what has you upset? Why are you sad? Using those emotions so that they understand and they can communicate to you how they are feeling. So how to support their physical development. They're very active. They are maturing in their large and small muscle control. So the way they hold the pencil, the way they cut the paper, being able to color in the lines. They're being taught all of those strategies in the classroom. They lack hand-eye coordination. That's why we do PE, so that they can learn how to catch a ball, how to hold things. And then sometimes they are somewhat farsighted as their eyes have not matured yet. So if they're having difficulty seeing, we do have our vision and hearing screening that we do for all students in kinder through 5th. So with COVID, the hygiene is super important, just constantly telling them to wash their hands, reminding them to keep their masks on when they're inside the classroom, and practicing using the tissue and throwing it away. So we have standard classroom rules. It's the same rules for the entire school. So there is these are, basic rules, but we have our Kornblum cardinal rules, and they're the exact same, and they're posted in every single classroom. And so that is how we teach what is done here at the school and what is not okay at the school. So we just work with them. If they go see Mr. Gary because they're not behaving, or they are repetitively touching someone else or doing something, we work with them, both Mr. Gary and myself. We do not give out the punishments at the kindergarten level. We mostly try to talk to them and figure out what's the next step. We may call you just to let you know that they visited with us, so you can have a conversation with them about it when you get home. It is also very, very important that you have discipline at home, and moms and dads have to be on the same page. You can't have a good guy and a bad guy. A good guy and a bad guy doesn't work too well, because when you have a good guy and a bad guy, they know who to they know how to get away with things with the good guy. So we want to share the discipline equally so that they have the same expectations. So here's some discipline strategies that we think work really well. Make the rules and consequences explicit. Like, if you don't clean up your room, then you don't get to play with this toy. Just that simple. When you clean it up, you get to play with the toy. Now, at 5 years of age, you're probably assisting them cleaning up. So that's setting the limits. We're not saying you can pick all this up by yourself, but we're saying let's do it together. And that way they have more clear expectations. Provide reinforcement, let them praise them all the time. Praising is super important, and that's what we model here. These are state standards, and they start as early as kindergarten. So this is a sample kindergarten report card, and this report card will have numbers in them. The numbers will be from 1 to 4, and the 1 through 4 the 4 being the highest, it tells you how they're progressing in the different areas. There is a section over there that says possible retention. This is the one that scares everybody the most. When they check that box, it is because they are not meeting state standards, but it does not mean that the student will be held back. So the teacher must check that box if they are not at the grade level that they should be, but it does not necessarily mean that they will be retained. That's a conversation that you have with the teacher, and the teacher will guide you through. Okay, so in reading development, they'll need to recognize all the capital and lowercase letters, be able to write them, and they'll be tested on that. These are different reading foundations. These are the state standards for kindergarten. There's a big book on it. So the teacher will go over those in detail with you, but I just wanted you to take a look at it and kind of read over it and kind of get an idea of what the teacher is trying to do in the classroom. So an example is the fluency. That is recognizing the letters. That's the first part. So the test is about, do you know the uppercase and do you know the lowercase letters? The phonics and the word recognition, they start doing the sight words. There are over 600 sight words. So they have a schedule for them learning those sight words, and they will test them on that. Those are the words that you cannot sound out. Those are the words that they just need to know. So the English language is also divided into speaking and listening and writing. So we do ask that they start with a picture and start putting letters and words to that picture. So in math, they need to be able to count from 1 to 20, recognize 1 to 20, and write 1 to 20. Now we go all the way to 100 here by the end of the school year, but 1 to 20 is what the state standards are. All of these are the different parts of the mathematical standards: counting, operations and algebraic thinking, taking things away, putting things together. So we start with that plus and minus right away, but we don't actually show them the symbols. We say take away and put back. So they get adding and subtracting. They have to know geometry, which is their basic shapes. So they'll be tested on those basic shapes. So how to improve your child's vocabulary? As you can see, the families that have the higher vocabulary, usually the students tend to do better. So you want to make sure that you're using as many words as possible and being as detailed as possible when you're speaking and communicating at home. So this is about expanding your child's vocabulary. It's important that you let them figure out the words and choose the words, and you assist them by using more complicated words. Technology, they're the best at it. My kindergartners were always on Zoom last year. They're the quickest to learn it, and they know how to do it the best. So technology is a skill that is part of their on their report card. So preparing for the first day, this is an introductory to the first day. So the kids will continue to come for the remainder of the week. You'll go to the door, you'll drop them off, and you'll go back to your car. There will be no more parent meetings for me. This is my only parent meeting with you, and you will join me at my next HPA if you are able to. We'll be doing it the same way, Zoom, or you can look at the recording. So it'll be available for everyone now that we have all this great technology. So we just want to make sure that they say please and thank you, and that they have been taught those things, and reminding them to be kind to one another when they're outside on the yard and they're playing with each other. We want to encourage as much play as we can. The teachers are going to be very diligent about making sure that they use the hand sanitizers after being outside on the yard, and making sure we have our yard supervisors who will be out there. I think it's really important. I know I cannot guarantee anybody that we won't have COVID here as schools are opening. My sister is in charge of 6 schools in Hawaii, and she's already had 17 cases. So there's no way we can guarantee that we won't get that. But it is important for them to be here, to socialize, and to make friends and get out the house, because we've been cooped up for so long. Finally, our kindergarten homework. So it's about 15 minutes. Please don't go past 15 minutes. It's just torture, and it's not nice. So don't do that to them. Even if you want them to learn those letters, just practice a couple with them, go for 15 minutes, and then cut it, whether they know them or they don't. Every time you're practicing, they're getting better. They are getting better, but definitely don't torture them. It is a repetition. So anytime you're reading a book to them, or you are practicing the sight words, or you are practicing the numbers, you've done homework. A lot of teachers will not assign an extra page for home because they're only in kindergarten. So that's how you can help us to make sure that they are learning and that they're ready for those tests that we'll give them. You do want to give them a quiet place, so you're practicing, like, this is where you're going to do your homework, and we're going to do this for 15 minutes. Have a desk with all their materials. They sit down for 15 minutes. That teaches them to sit for 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a really long time for a 5-year-old. Our goal is 5 minutes. It's 1 minute for every age. So they're only 5, so we're only expecting them to sit for 5 minutes. But we want to practice it so that they get longer and longer, so that as they get older, they can sit for longer times. So we're just asking you to practice with us. Refrain from doing your children's work because you're afraid that it doesn't look good. Just let them do it. It's okay. They're going to get better with practice. And it's hard. I did a whole bunch of college papers for my son. So yes, you do have to practice what you preach. So you want them to do what they can do. And the teacher needs to know what they know, not what you know. So call for an appointment to see your teacher. They are available after 2:30. They're on the clock till 3. So the best time to catch them is between 2:30 and 3. A lot of times they have meetings, so don't take it personal if they can't patch you through, because they might be in a meeting. We have meetings all the time. So if they say they're in a meeting or they're gone for the day, it's not that they don't want to speak with you. Just like I said, use the text messaging, the class dojo, the emails, and definitely set up an appointment. It's always good to set up an appointment, and they will call you back. I'm not sure if we'll be bringing the backpacks back, but we will have some homework and some projects go in those backpacks, and it'll probably be like once or twice a week. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I appreciate